All right, well, hello and welcome back, everyone. We are a pair of sympathetics. My name is Jim Wisniewski. I am living in Los Angeles. I am a certified health and life coach. And with me today is my lovely sister.
I'm Therese Westberg, a licensed clinical professional counselor here in Chicago, Illinois, where we don't have the sun shining just yet, but it's starting to come out a little bit.
It'll
So
come
how you
out.
doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Nice to see you.
I like your
Um,
I like your new do.
yeah, my COVID cough. I started cutting my own hair. I botched it up. I shaved it off. So, whew,
I like it.
cool. Um,
Yeah.
So last week, or we have been asking for suggestions if somebody had something that they thought that they would like to hear us talk about. And we got many great suggestions. And one in particular really reached out to the two of us during this quarantine time. The question of us living in tight quarters with different personalities. When one person is sort of likes to shine a positive light on things and the other person maybe moves in a more negative light on things. And how do we meet each other in the middle? How do we coexist in these tight quarters? So I'm going to throw the ball into your court here, sis. Maybe you can talk about this for a little bit.
Yeah. So we thought it was a great topic because we can all relate to that because there's many different scenarios. We're all thrown into this pretty quickly together, and it's almost like we're thrown into early retirement. But there's, it's not like we're able to travel the world together, so it's a lot of together time, and it's compounded by the fact that it's also a time of high anxiety for a lot of people because of all the changes going on. So today we're going to deal specifically with, just for simplicity, because there's many different ways we could go, but simplicity of how you deal with that positive outlook and the negative, and the importance of communication. So we're going to talk about what are communication skills that can help, and the importance of our words and the emotion and meaning behind our words.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's start with, and this is what we're just going to work on today, because so let's start with the word you. Okay, so if we're trying to get along with people and someone says to you, you ate the ice cream bar, you're so negative, how do you respond to that?
Defensively. It's the dirtiest word in the English language. You.
Dirtiest word.
It really is. It makes me cringe. It puts me on my heels. It makes me attack back.
I've been attacked, exactly, right? And so once the word you is thrown out there, especially with that emotion behind it of you, right? It's way different than saying, I love you. Oh, well, then you is so nice, right? But when you start out with you, hardly ever goes well.
Right.
So, so that's an important starting point, because whenever we're trying to live or cohabitate with somebody else, if we create an environment that is defensive, if I'm defensive with you, you're going to be defensive with me, and we're going to go back and forth, and anxiety is going to escalate, and that anxiety is contagious.
Yep.
So it makes the entire household anxious, right? So let's problem solve it, and let's talk about the skills that we can use to avoid conflict and honor each other and honor ourselves and make sure our feelings are noticed. So it's about meeting each other at our emotional level. So it's beyond our words. When someone's saying something, and we'll focus on the negative, even though we're not having a connotation that negative or positive is right or wrong here, right? Like the negative person, you were saying this before, the negative person might have a realistic view on things and might be frustrated if the positive person is all about sunshine and roses and not acknowledging that there are some things going on here that could be troubling.
Yeah.
So there's not a good or bad.
I feel like there can be tyranny in both ways of meeting conflict or meeting a difficult situation, because the one person who maybe a little bit more negative is constantly feeling like, well, you just want to, put a clean sheen on everything and make everything, sunshiny and paint over it and gloss over it. But I like this idea of meeting each other at their emotional level. And,
Right.
you know, I think sometimes we just want to be seen. And if somebody says they feel some way, and even if you think that it's a negative way to feel, I think the first thing that you want to try to do is to see that emotion for what it is, acknowledge that it's valid. And then what usually can happen once you've said, I totally get how you feel. I feel that same way, and I have felt that way before. This is how I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
It puts you in a place of problem solving together as a team, as a unit, you know, and you become two people who are walking a path together, as opposed to becoming each other's adversary and going, why are you negative? Why are you negative all the time? You are so negative. Well, you're positive when you shouldn't be positive, as opposed to, you know, I mean, I think it goes both ways. I think that the negative person also, and this might be harder for them, it might be useful for them to acknowledge that your positive feeling is a worthy feeling as well.
Right.
Probably
Can
the
we just do a
positive
quick
person.
example? Quick example, just so like if I was to say, oh my God, this is a disaster. We're never gonna get back on our feet again. A way that you could stumble all over me and escalate to an argument might be what you might say to me.
Oh, you always take the negative approach. You don't, you don't see how this can be a good thing. What do you're missing? What's great about this? You don't get it. You don't
And
get it.
now I feel from how you responded to me, I feel you didn't hear me. You don't understand where I'm coming from at all. We have no emotional connection. You're judging me, and now you're attacking me and belittling me. So
Yeah,
that is not going to work.
right.
We all know, or we've talked about many times, that I have no power to control you or to change you, and you don't have the power to do that with me either. So when you're in these situations, the only power and control we have is to change our responses. If we don't like the outcomes we're getting, then we need to change our responses. Otherwise, that's the whole insanity definition, right?
Yep.
Keep doing the same thing and expect a different outcome. So here's our opportunity. So let's do it again, and we'll do it in a way where you validate my feelings, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. You know, this is a disaster. I mean, we're never going to get out of this. I don't know what we're going to do. What are we going to do? This is horrible.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a tricky situation, and I know how you feel. I totally understand that emotion that you're having right now, and I feel it as well. Let's talk about it. I think we can get through this, but it's okay. I understand how you feel. I understand how you feel.
How do I
The same
feel?
way, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
Thank
and
you.
yeah, I think there's something in that. I think there's something, you know, look, it's going to come in different forms. We're not always going to understand how it comes. But I do think that going, it is frustrating. This is frustrating. I'm dealing with it, and I understand that you're struggling with it. Let's deal with your struggle. Let's deal with how that is. Now that I feel seen, now there's a chance for me to see your point of view as well. But
Exactly, because
I
I'm
don't,
not just fighting you.
right. I'm not your adversary. We didn't come together in this partnership to become adversaries, right?
Right. And see, now that I know that you understand where I'm coming from, you're right. I am willing to work with you
Yeah.
because you've met me on my emotional level, and now we can problem solve together. And it's step two. This is another part of the communication. So number one is don't use the word you and go on an attack, because that's never going to work.
Yep.
Number two is validate. Go beyond the words and look for the meaning and the emotion behind the words, and validate your partner or whoever it is that you're dealing with. And number three is, and so that's where you met me in my emotional level, okay? And number three is, it's always really helpful to go back when someone's struggling, go back to their past and find other times when they were struggling, and let them see that they made it through it before, And there were other times in life where they felt there was doom and gloom.
Right.
And look, we came through that okay, and everything did get better. So that's why I believe things are going to get better, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
show person, you are capable of getting to this because you've done it before, and then you've inspired change. So we can't change you, we can inspire change, and we can inspire different outcomes when we support each other and meet each other with our words at an emotional level.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, just to conclude, I think what happens in these situations is we start feeling a loss of control. We feel like we don't have any, you know, the other person is having these feelings and we are lost. This is one way to get a little bit of control, where we control our own emotions and we kind of say, I understand how you feel, you know,
Yeah.
and that way we won't feel so out of control. And maybe in validating that stuff, it won't feel so like, oh, this is, we're trapped. Maybe now you feel like you're living in harmony with each other. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. I hope this helps. We're
Yeah,
all
we really
living
hope
in
it helps.
close quarters together. Let's do the best we can to meet each other at our emotional levels. And as always, if you have a topic that you would like us to address, we love doing this. We could probably go on for an hour on this particular topic,
Yeah.
because I think there's so much to be said on it. But let us know if there's some other thing that you would like to have us address.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching and thanks for your questions. And we hope this is helpful.
Yep. See you
All right,
next time.
bro.
All right, sis. I love you.
I love you too. Great to see you.